I'm waiting for an oil change, and I think one of the things that makes the Quran, makes the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, seem so utterly true is that Muhammad, peace be upon him, does not, in fact, emphatically goes out of his way to be like, I don't want your worship. I never wanted your worship. I don't want your praise. I'm not here for that. I'm not trying to make money off this. I'm not trying to have power and authority. I am merely trying to remind you of God, of Allah. I am merely trying to remind you of him. I think there's an importance to that, right? Like Surah Sa'ad, sorry if I got that incorrectly, 6, 7, and 8, chief deniers. The chiefs among them went forth saying, carry on and stand firm in your devotion to your gods. Certainly this is just a scheme for power. We have never heard of this in the previous faith. This is nothing but a fabrication. Has the reminder been revealed only to him out of all of us? In fact, they are only in doubt of my revealed reminder. In fact, they do so because they have not yet tasted my punishment. Or is it because they possess the treasuries of the mercy of your Lord, the Almighty, the giver of all bounties? Or is it because the kingdom of heavens and earth and everything in between belongs to them? Let them then climb their way to heaven if their claim is true. I think it's really important that, like, we do recognize the fact that Jesus's whole thing was to bring people to God. And even throughout the entirety of the Bible, it is reiterated repeatedly not to have idols, and yet when you turn on like a Christian music station, there are no songs to God. Every song is to Jesus. When Christians are in my comments, they're not saying don't believe in God. They're saying I'm going to go to hell because I don't believe in Jesus. Like, imagine the full veracity of what you're saying. Imagine the fact that you're telling somebody who believes in God, who believes in the 10 Commandments, who believes in the goodness and kindness that God created the earth so that we may have every living thing on it be in total oneness, so that we might have food to eat, so that we may have animals from which we can gather leather, so that we may have love from our fellow person. And you are telling me that no matter what good I do, no matter how much the conviction of my belief in God is, that I'm gonna go to hell because I don't believe that Jesus is God. Like, do you imagine how audacious that is? That you get to tell somebody that their belief in God is not enough to go to heaven. And I think that's a really important message that needs to constantly be struck between, all of the faiths. That, like, the whole point of every prophet, the whole point of every single person that came down, every messenger, Noah, Moses, Abraham, Isaac, Ishmael, Job, Jesus, Muhammad, peace be upon them all, was just to share the message of God. And they've done that. I was going through and I was about to post that video, and I still will. But one thing I wish that Christians understood is, like, the broad majority of the Quran is literally just reiterating the stories of the Bible. That's it. That's all it is. Like, I mean, it repeats the story of Noah multiple times. It repeats the story of Moses multiple times. It repeats the story of Job multiple times. Like, it's just the Bible, but, like, it makes things more clear. And I think that that's why it is so easy for people who have read the Bible, who have truly accepted God, like the real God, into their heart at some point, to read the Quran and go, oh, it isn't this, like, fake thing. And in fact, it actually helps the Bible make more sense in a great myriad of ways. Like, the Bible is just a bunch of parables, which is fine. Some people learn through parabolic teachings. But the Quran is like, here's all the parables, but also here's a bunch of just straight up rules, because I know a lot of people struggle with rules, like struggle with gleaning information out of text. I mean, like, the Quran is called repeatedly in the text, the reminder. And like, at no point does it say not to trust the Bible. At no point does it say not to trust the Torah. It says, though, that these things have been deviated from, which it makes total sense, right? Like, how can anyone say that they have read the 10 Commandments and yet support genocide? One of the 10 Commandments is thou shalt not kill, you know? And so the Quran says to kill one person is to kill all of humanity. To save one person is to save all of humanity. Like, of course people are going to be scared of something they've been told their whole life to fear, but I want people who have truly accepted, who know God in their spirit of spirits, who see the world and go, something isn't adding up. Just think about it. Because you're right, something isn't adding up. Why might that be? Telling us what to look for. I think that it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy on every side. And it can also make people who are trying to do the good works, trying to find ways to combat this world that we're living in, trying to find ways to save lives, it can make them feel like there's no point. Why bother? And I truly don't think that that was the whole point. I think that, I mean, and maybe I'm wrong, right? Like, I am but human. But I think it wasn't, you know, the point of telling us what to look for wasn't to say that, like, we should just accept the world as it is. And when we start to see the signs go, yay, it's coming, or there's nothing we can do to avoid it, I think it was just merely to show evidence of Allah. And I don't want to lose hope. I don't want to stop having a purpose to do good. I don't want us to stop trying to save people. And I don't just mean that religiously, I mean that literally. And so, yeah, it's been really hard to post in the last couple of days about reading the Quran, because I'm both self-defeating, being somebody who is maternally Jewish, and also I don't know how to bridge that gap for all of you. I don't know how to help you all have a hope that no matter what the evil is that we face, there is still great value in trying our darndest to do our best to change it. I feel like that's where our greatest strength is. How many hearts are able to be turned and just need to hear a compassionate voice, just need to hear somebody cheer them on to be brave, and instead we're saying it's just an example of everything coming to an end. So I'll leave you with this. Surah Az-Zumar 41. Free choice. Surely we have revealed to you the book, O Prophet, with the truth for humanity. So whoever chooses to be guided, it is for their own good, and whoever chooses to stray, it is only to their own loss. You are not a keeper over them. Let that be a reminder that even though Allah knows all, we do not, and the choice is ours to still do good, even in the face of evil.